Good morning, it is Monday the 23rd of September 2019. Today I will be taking a train from Seoul to Busan. I won't take a direct train, there are lots of direct trains, but I won't take the direct train. I will take a KTX to Daegu first. From there on I will take the ITX, which is a slower train, which won't go on the high-speed track, that left Seoul earlier today to Busan. So I will have the experience of all the three long distance trains you can find here in South Korea. The KTX, which is the fastest train, then you have the ITX, and then you have the Mugunghwa train. I came here by a Mugunghwa train, you can see this on my earlier trip report. I hope you enjoy the video. Now we'll get some breakfast first, because it's really early. I arrived in Seoul with a Mugunghwa train. Well, you can see this in my previous trip report. Mugunghwa trains are the cheapest trains in Korea, so they are the cheapest trains to travel between Seoul and Busan as well. These trains are way slower than the KTX trains and they're less comfortable than the ITX trains and also as the KTX trains. In this trip report I will mainly focus on the station in Seoul, the station in Daegu, Daegu is the station over there, and the ITX train. I will make a full trip report about the KTX train this afternoon on the way back from Busan to Seoul. Since I have a lot of trips by train coming ahead, I will try to upload one video per week, so next week you can see the KTX video. Seoul Station is perfectly within reach of the metro, also many buses do stop in front of the railway station. You can find the old railway station, what has been built in 1925, next to the new modern railway station. Nowadays you can find a cultural complex in the old railway station, which has been opened in 2011. Many historical details have been preserved. Personally, I really like the station hall. At the back of the station you also find the entrance to the platforms. And when you just want to know more about the history of the railway station, there's some explanation about this as well. You can enter this cultural complex for free. The hall of the railway station is very modern, clear and open. Directions are pointed out really clear, so which way to go for the metro and even which way to go for which line. Everything is in English and in Korean of course. As a foreigner you cannot use the vending machines for tickets, so you have to go to the ticket desk to buy your ticket. But you can also use the Korail website or the Korail app of course. I checked several options and I think the best thing to do when you're in Korea is just to buy individual tickets, so not to buy a rail pass. Of course it might be different in your situation, so I just advise you to check this before you go to Korea. In the middle of the railway station you will find an information desk. At the lower level you can find some convenience stores, ticket desks, things you may need for your journey. While you will find at the upper level and near the entrance of the platform some waiting area where you can just, wait for your train. I guess this is where waiting areas are made for. At the upper level you also find the Korail lounge, some restaurants, fast food restaurants, coffee bars, etc. When you rather shop till you drop, Seoul Station is a good spot for you as well. You can find a big department store and there are many shops around the station anyway. Departure and arrival screens are clearly marked, both in English and, again, of course, in Korean. You'll find these screens at many places at the railway station. As you can see here, my train is pretty early. I've bought my tickets through the Korail app and, this is basically how my tickets look like. The tickets are pretty simple, they just give you a seat number, codes and your name will be on it, and of course from where to where you will travel. The last digits of the credit card where you purchased the ticket with are also mentioned on the ticket. From my experience point of view, your ticket won't be checked in the train unless you will go to a seat what you have not reserved. When you go to the seat you have reserved, the conductor will mark you as present and you're all set. In case there might be a conflict and someone else is saying they have the same seat reservation, the credit card and the name on the ticket might be checked, so they can see who has the actual reservation. When you are known with trains in Europe, this train might look very familiar to you. Even some small details are exactly the same as the trains I'm mentioning. These trains do really look a lot like the TGV trains. Well, they're also built by the same company. Well, I won't go into a lot of details about the KTX train in this video, but I will in my next video. While the train sets off to Daegu, you have some beautiful views along the way. I did the same trip on a non-high-speed train as well, but because it was bad weather the views were not that good. And of course on a non-high-speed train you can enjoy the environment a little bit more, although the views are pretty good from the high-speed train as well. Daegu is a station in the city of Daegu. Well, this might be a little bit confusing, I checked this as well, and when you book tickets to Daegu, you will end up at a different station. High-speed trains do only stop at this station. Comparing to Seoul, every city in South Korea is small, but Daegu is, well, for me, a pretty big city, with a population of 2.5 million people. This makes it the 4th largest city in the country. This railway station is perfectly within reach of the metro. I've been in this station twice and what I noticed that it was way busier on Saturday. The second time I was here it was on a late Monday morning. In the station you'll find lots of places to buy some food. There were quite a lot of waiting areas. Train information about departing trains, arrival trains, etc. is, well, just like the previous stations, pretty good. You'll find separate platforms for the high-speed trains, the KTX and the SRT, and the non-high-speed trains, the ITX and the Mugunghwa. At the platforms, well, just like everywhere in Korea, it's clearly marked where you have to stand for when you have a reservation and what codes. As you can see here. At the platform everything is very clearly indicated. When you wait a bit it will be in English. See, here it is. I will continue my journey with the ITX, what stands for Intercity Train Express. These trains run on longer distances and not on high-speed lines. So basically they will use the same tracks as the Mugunghwa trains. I found the comfort level of these trains much higher than in the Mugunghwa trains. And as far as I understood, you're not able to buy a ticket for these kind of trains without having a seat reservation. So the seat reservation is always included in the ticket price. Sunscreens are in general not really a fancy thing. Well, most long distance trains all over the world do have this. But what I really like about these is that the sunscreens don't block the entire window. So let's say I don't want any light because I'm working on my laptop for example and the person in front of me just wants to look outside. You won't bother each other and I think this is really cool. In many videos I will say that I'm a big boy when I talk about leg space, and here I say it again, I'm a big boy, so it might look tighter than it is. But you have a lot of leg space, you will find a feetrest and in the armrest you also find a table. The tables are pretty steady, but well, I found them pretty small, so this is absolutely one downside of this train. You won't find a dining car, but you will find several vending machines. You can pay both in cash and, well, I don't know exactly what it was, but I tried to pay with T-money, but somehow it didn't work, but maybe that was just me being stupid. All seats do have a power plug. All seats are facing forward, so this means you have some extra luggage space behind the last row, like you can see here. You'll also find an extra luggage rack at the end of the carriage, and of course you have the overhead luggage rack where you can put a lot of luggage. The carriage numbers are clearly marked on the outside and on the inside of the train as well. The seat numbers are clearly marked on the overhead luggage rack, so you have the row number and A for window seats, B aisle, C aisle and D for window seats. This is one of the very few trains where I've been on where the toilets are gender specific. The toilets themselves are pretty clean and well equipped. In this train you also have free Wi-Fi and it works all pretty smooth. Well, I don't use public Wi-Fi pretty often and especially not without the use of a VPN. But I do have to say, for public Wi-Fi this works pretty smooth and especially for public Wi-Fi on a train. Korea is the country with the fastest internet connections, so maybe for Korean standards it's not that fast, but it was pretty good to me. Of course, I took the slower train because I wanted to see something more of the country, so this is what you may expect when you travel between Daegu and Busan when you don't take the high-speed trains.
So, good morning from Busan Station, the second city of South Korea. I just arrived by the ITX train, and personally I really like this train. I like it more than the lower ranked Mugunghwa-Ho, the lowest ranked long distance trains I can't pronounce. It is cheaper than the high-speed train. I think if you go on the cheapest one, the Mugunghwa train, it's about 22 euros. Between, well, euros or dollars, between Seoul and Busan. If you take this one, you pay about €10 or $10 more. And on the KTX train, it is a lot faster. It's only 2.5 hours, but you pay around €45 or $1. So it's still not a lot of money. They're all very reasonable priced. Well, I'm going to explore Busan now. See you on the next trip report. It will be on a direct KTX from Busan to Seoul. Bye bye.